Hi, you're again with Volleyball Explained Podcast and our edition about the Italian League. As you can see, we are today only two of us. Ronnie is busy with his exams, but we are here with Nicola and we're going to talk about Italian volleyball. And for the last time, we reached the fourth round, and in this edition, we are going to talk about the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh round in the Italian Superlega, plus a little bit because, as you can see already, our main topic will be the team of Trentino Volley, and they played in the Champions League also. So maybe at the end, we are going to comment also on that. Let's start with our fifth, not our, but the Italian fifth round of the league, and there we had a postponed match between the teams of Trentino and Modena, which will be played on the 5th of November. And the other matches, Perugia won against Cisterna 3-0, Milano Ravenna 3-2, Padova Monza 2-3. Monza is a little bit inconsistent, but as we're going to see later, they have pretty decent team. Piacenza Lube 1-3, and Vibo against Verona 3-2. Firstly, Nicola, which match do you like to highlight from this round? And then I'm going to do the same.
Well, I just want to comment a little bit about Milano and Ravenna. I watched the game because Trento was not playing. It was the match that has been postponed. It was Trento between Modena, so I had the chance to watch other matches. It was a pretty entertaining match with a lot of comebacks. And Milano could have won it 3-1 or 3-0, but in the entire game, they wasted 11 set balls, especially in the second, the third set, and they should have closed the game earlier. But there has been a pretty interesting challenge between Patry, the opposite of Milano, and Recine, the young outside speaker of Ravenna. And they had a lot of, pretty good moments when it's come down to score points after long rallies, to charge themselves one against each other. And we've seen a pretty good match for the standard of the Italian league.
Maybe we should note that Recine is only, I believe, 185 tall, which is a little bit very interesting, very artistic fact, because he's very short in terms of being an outside hitter. What I would like to highlight is firstly the win of Lube, not because they have won, but because of the statistics in this match. In this match, 5 of their players, of course, the starting players, only the setter, the Czecho, hasn't scored 10 points or more. We have Osmani Contorena with 13 points, Leao with 15 points, Rechlički with 17 points, Simon with 15 points, and Anzani with 12. This is very amazing, I believe. This is a very rare occasion in volleyball. We had that a team has 5 players with 10 points or more. And the win itself is not that surprising. Actually, not surprising at all. Piacenza are inconsistent for the moment. They have 3 wins and 4 losses so far. But the fact that Lube and Perugia are the teams which are the most consistent, and actually they are deconsistent teams because they have both 7 wins so far. The other match I would like to highlight from this round is between the teams of Vibo and Verona. Vibo is for me the biggest surprise, positive surprise so far, with their, I believe, 10 points. I will check. So far, yes, 10 points out of 7 games, and Verona is also inconsistent. But their problem is that most of the matches they played without Tomasz Dzieszke, and also without Eduardo Kaneski, one of the middle blockers of the team. And the match was a roller coaster, but at the end, Vibo won this match. And I believe that Vibo has a very decent team, one of the teams in the middle, which are going to cause a lot of problems for the other teams. And they also signed this week, just several days ago, another outside hitter, French outside hitter. They have Thibaut Rossard. Now they're going to have also Julien Linneo. So it's going to be even better team, I believe, in the next rounds.
And Linnell already knows the Italian league because he played in Ravenna a couple of years ago. So he comes and knows what to expect from him.
And they have as a setter Davide Saita, who is former Italian international. So I believe that they are a team which was out of our predictions for a top 6 ranking in the end. But it's not impossible, but it's very possible that they're going to get into the playoffs, I believe, at the end of the season. But it's very interesting, and we're going to comment on that at the end. It's very congested table in the middle, and almost everyone can win against everyone. Then is the 6th round of the league, and we had another win of Lube against the team of Padova 3-0, Modena against Piacenza 3-0. Again, with this is a rare occasion to say in our podcast, but with a great match of Luca Vettori. Then we had Trentino and Perugia 1-3, Milano against Verona 3-1. I'm going to comment on that a bit more after several minutes. Ravenna Vibo 2-3, again a tiebreak win for Ravenna for Vibo, and the only and the first win for now of Cisterna out of 7 rounds against Monza 3-1. And now I'm going to give it the floor for the match of Trentino, because even though I know that you're not that passionate about talking about this match.
Well, I mean, I have a contrast feeling at the end of this match because, of course, Trentino lost to Perugia 1-3, and it was a home loss. In the past years, Pala Trento, or as it's called right now, BLM Group Arena, was a kind of fortress. But right now, it's sad to say, but almost every team that's crossing the door of the hall could go back home with some points. Trento hasn't won a home game yet in the championship. And the match
you had actually, sorry to interrupt you, you had one match postponed, and the other matches were against Verona and Perugia, I believe.
Yeah, and they both losses, and they just won one set, the first against Perugia. At the beginning of the game, it seemed that Trento could have gone pretty well throughout the entire game. They started serving very strong, and so they put a lot of pressure on Perugia reception, and basically almost everyone in the team was playing at a consistent level from the start to the end of the set. As usual, Abdelaziz spiked everything that comes around his area. But after that, there was a kind of a blackout, and it also was a wise move by Einen that from the end of the first set till the end of the game, he subbed off Ricci, the middle blocker. He subbed in Russo, which ended up with 5 blocks, and he was one of the key players for the comeback of Perugia that win pretty easily the second and the third set. The fourth one was a little bit disappointing for Trent because they were up 18-11. So they were looking pretty cool. No, 18-13, sorry, 7 or 5 points. They had a huge margin for that team. And then they started making silly mistakes. They getting nervous because of a call of the referee that didn't call a double touch of Solé, while having called basically the same action to Giannelli with a fault a couple of rally earlier. But they went out of the game suddenly, and Perugia solved it by serving very well with the usual Leon, and closed the match with 2 aces, 1.5 aces from Plotnitsky. At the end of the game, the player of Trento looked like they knew they wasted the chance to get this match to the tiebreak, but Perugia won it deservedly won, definitely, and they put a lot of pressure on Trento's back for the shooting 2 games, and it didn't work out pretty well, as we know and we'll see for the next round against Monza.
Maybe we should also note that Alexander Atanasievich is not playing for Perugia for the moment because he's still injured, or actually the more precise way of saying is that he is not still recovered from an injury, and that is very frightening for the opponents of Perugia because they are that good without an Atanasievich, and when Atanasievich starts playing, this is going to be even a bigger problem for the other teams.
Yeah, even if maybe for the first time this season, Terhorst looked very sharp against Trento. He had a terrible first set, but from the second ahead, it was one of the best weapons for Travica and caused a lot of problems for Trento. So in that particular game, the absence of Atanasievich was highlighted only in the first set, but then ahead, Terhorst did his job pretty well.
And we should also say that he's not an opposite in principle. He's an outside hitter. So this is another thing we need to mention. The match I would like to highlight from this round is between the teams of Milano and Verona, because this is the match I watched in this Facebook Live free broadcasting by the Italian League in the 6th round. In this match, Verona played without Stéphane Bouillet, who was under quarantine because he was in contact with COVID-19 positive people. And for that matter, Verona played with their reserve opposite Alexander Kimerov, who was awful in this match, I believe really awful. And the statistics that he is 38% in attack is a little bit misleading because in principle, especially in the end of the sets, even in one of the sets, I believe in the 3rd set or in the 4th, I don't remember exactly, but Stoichev substituted Kimerov with young Giulio Magalini, and in the back row, Magalini was playing as an outside hitter, and Matej Kaziski was playing as an opposite. But let's give to Milano also what they deserve, because they played very good, and in this match, I'm not going to highlight the game of Jean Patry, but I'm going to do it the same with the game of Yuki Ishikawa, who was absolutely amazing in this match. So I believe that this is another thing which is very important to underline, to emphasize, because Milano is the most consistent team after Perugia and Clube. They have 5 wins out of 7 matches. So this is pretty amazing, taking into account that one of the other 2 matches was against Lube. And the only surprising result for them was a loss against Vibo in the second round, something like this.
Second.
I believe second. And maybe also to say that Cisterna won their first match against Monza. Monza is with ups and downs, as we're going to see also in the next rounds.
And the end of that match. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, at the end of that match, Monza's coach Soli has been sacked by
third victim, third casualty for the season, and and we're going to talk a bit later if there will be a 4th round soon. But for now this is not that likely. Let's say it's also for Cisterna that they have a very significant problem with the opposite, because in this match Arthur Schwartz, who was playing as a middle blocker in the last season, played as a played as opposite with a lot of points scored, a lot of points really. But they have problem with this with Sabi, who is not playing, with the second opposite of Wewo, I believe is his name.
Yep.
So yes, they have this problem which is still ongoing, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they have a very little amount of points so far. Next one is the 7th round. Yeah. Please.
No, the one of the most funny end of the game of this round was the tie break between Ravenna and Vivo Valencia. The game ended 2-3 for Ravenna. Ravenna was leading 14-10 in the tie break, and then Vivo made an incredible comeback and getting the set 15-17 and win the game. So it was a pretty surprising end, considering that Ravenna had been comfortably leading for the entire 5th set. But as you know, in volleyball, you have to put down the last ball to win the game, and they didn't, and Vivo Valencia did.
I believe that we had several very similar matches like this in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I believe on a very high level. I mean, in the top 3 leagues, I mean, Italian, Russian, and Poland, plus Champions League, plus World Cup Championship. We had Luba against Zenit in the World Clubs World Championship, I believe 2018. I believe.
Yeah, the one Trento won.
Yeah. The one Trento won. This was in the group stage, I believe, in this match between Luba and Zenit. And also, I believe the last year between Conegliano and one of the Turkish teams, the match.
Vakif Bank, maybe.
I believe either Vakif Bank or Ekjashubashin. I'm not sure. Maybe it was two. One of the two, and they were winning. I believe it was Vakif Bank of the team of Giovanni Guidetti. And they were leading, I believe, 14-9 against Conegliano, and Conegliano came back. So one of the most. I'm not sure what is the record for having the biggest margin and then turning it around. I remember a match between Italy and Japan, where Japan was leading 24-18, I believe, and Italy came back. But I'm not sure if there is any bigger difference. Especially for when the one of the teams reached 24 or respectively 14. That's interesting facts to check. Yeah, I believe that this is one of the problems with popularity of volleyball, because you are not able to check simply these facts. In football, in I don't know, basketball, American football, I believe, hockey, all the American sports, you can check that very easily. But in volleyball, you have not the statistics, and this is something which especially with social media, which works on this instant gratification model, you need these facts because they are very attractive for the audience, for the public, and we don't have it in volleyball, and we are not able to produce these facts by ourselves without the help of FIVP, CEF, etc., etc. Okay, let's go to the 7th round with Lube against Milano, 3-0, another solid performance for Lube. Perugia Ravenna, 3-0, another match which is, there is no need to speak about it a lot. Padova against Modena, 1-3, with another good performance for Vettori, Karliček, etc., etc. And I believe that Padova is the team with the least skills in the league, and I'm going to almost sure that they will be the team who is going to be relegated in the end of the season. I believe now Cisterna is the last team, but I believe that they have more chances to get a little bit in the middle of the table. Verona Cisterna, 3-2. Monza Trentino, this is the biggest surprise and maybe the most interesting match of the round, with 3-2 for Monza, with again amazing Adis Lagumgia, the young Turkish opposite, with unbelievable Marko Sedlacek in the tiebreak with only 10 points but MVP of the match, which is very rare occasion, I believe, also in volleyball. And Vibo against Piacenza 1-3 with this roller coaster performance by Piacenza. And now I'm going to ask you to talk about this match between Monza and Trentino. And we are actually reaching our question in the thumbnail of the podcast. Why is Trentino struggling?
Yeah, there are similarities in the two defeat for Trento against Perugia and Monza. Trento started strong in both games, even against Monza. They comfortably won the first set. And then they fell into this black hole. Suddenly, they can't connect. The reception went down pretty badly. And some opinionists put Giannelli under the spotlight after those two matches, underline the fact that he's playing too much with Abdelaziz, and that makes the plays predictable. But I can't totally blame the setter for three reasons. Nimir is a scoring machine. He's playing on an unbelievable level. In this match against Monza, he scored 32 points with 6 aces. He has the highest attacking percentage of all the opposite in the league, and among also opposite and outside speaker, 60%. To draw a comparison, Leal and Juan Torreni are 56 and Leon 51. So the level he's playing is incredible, and you have to feed him if constantly making points. And the second reason I can't blame Giannelli is because Trento reception has been terrible. Is the second lowest in the entire league, and Giannelli had to run all around the court to try to get the ball in the air and to have some set. And the third reason is no other player than Nimir is so consistent all along the game. It's difficult to find out a solution when you can count on Koi maybe in the third and the fourth set, with Lucarelli just in the third 2 sets, and the middle blockers. Don't forget that Lisnat is still recovering, is gradually getting better, but it's not the level of Lisnat we've used to see in the past 2 years, especially in Trento. And with Monza, all these flows came out at once, but it was a surprising defeat. President Mosna, after the loss to Perugia, wrote a post on Facebook asking for time to trust the process, to underline you don't win championship in October. After the loss to Monza, he has an interview with a local newspaper and was asked about that defeat, how he feels about it. And I'm quoting, he says, "The defeat is inexplicable, period. I'm not saying anything more because I actually don't know what to say." And that's exactly the feeling. It's difficult to explain those kind of defeats, because I think that even for Lorenzetti, it would be better if the team played bad from the first set to the last. So they played a bad match, so you don't deserve the win. But with all these roller coaster up and downs along the games, it's difficult to find out where the problem lays. There are some circumstances that may have affected the development of the team. As we pointed out many times, 5 out of 7 players in the starting lineup are new. We said about Lisnat, but also Lucarelli had physical problems. And then with the loss of his dad, he's probably recovering also from this emotional hit. Trento probably had also one of the toughest schedule for the first 6-7 rounds of the league. In addition, they had to play the 2 rounds of the preliminary group for the Champions League. So they had to play a lot of games in a short period, which means you don't have time to practice a lot. You have to find solution during the game. And that is something that is difficult, especially with a new team. But this can't be excuses. I mean, Trent is a team built to win titles, not to fight for a point against Monza, with all the respect to Holt and company, whose win was more than legit. I hope I have an answer to the question why is Trentino struggling, but no one actually has that as far as I know.
It's not that transparent for now. Some thoughts from myself. Firstly, I like saying that I hate tiebreak matches because I can't analyze them. When the matches has finished 3-2 with 17-15 in the last set, how you are able to analyze it properly when it's only 2 points difference? It's just one mistake error at the end. Okay, but let's leave that aside. The other thing, I would like to get into a role of a coach. The other team is playing like Milano from their last season. And I believe that the case against Verona in the loss at Palatrento was very similar to my thoughts now that, okay, they have Nimir, but leave Nimir aside. He can score. Of course, leave him aside doesn't mean leave him on a single or no block. Of course, this means that in the most in the situations where which are more complicated, you concentrate more on 4 and center 4. So you're playing, let's say, on a half of a net. Okay, not half of a net, but not 2/3 of the net. So you concentrate on center, pipe, and 4. Leave Nimir aside. Let him score. He can win. He's not able to win a match alone. I really believe that one player, even the opposite, is not able to win a match alone. So leave him aside. Let him score. But we're going to stop the 2 outside hitters. We're going to stop the
middle blockers.
The middle blockers, and that's all. We were going to win the match, maybe in 5 sets, but we're going to do it. And that was actually the case in the match between Monza and Trentino, even though I believe that Sedlacek scored 2 Q blocks exactly against Nimir, but at least one of them I'm absolutely sure that it was a single block. So this is I'm not saying this is a proof for my case, but I believe that this could be a possible tactics against Trento, at least for now, when Koi and especially Lucarelli are not playing that well.
It's incredible to see. Sorry.
Yeah, here's the moment maybe to talk about also against for the match against Dinamo in the Champions League. But yeah, please.
No, it's incredible to say, but Trento is missing Micheletto a lot because he could have sub in for Lucarelli, especially for the receiving job, and get him some relief during the game, get him the time to cool down and to focus on the attack. Trento, if the 2 outside speaker, Koi and Lucarelli, are not working pretty well, doesn't have solution on the bench because Sosa Sierra is a explosive player, but you can't ask him to replace for the entire game one of those 2 superstars. So even Giannelli, as I said before, at a certain point doesn't know who to trust because if you watch the match or even the highlights, you may see they do very stupid mistakes. I mean, Koi has one of his best shot is a diagonal in the first third of the game of the opposite court when he's attacking, and he's sent out a couple of those. Even I'm not saying without a block, but even with the chances to do something different. But he was trying to do that shot, and that were 2 killing breaks for break points for Monza, and Trento lost. I think it was the second set where they were fighting point to point, and they went ahead. And then Sedlacek completely changed the game because Lanza, which was the starting outside speaker, played decently in the first set on the service, which is how can I say pretty surprising about Lanza, which in Italy is a little bit known for sending most of his serve into the net rather than in the opposite half of the court. And then Eckel, which is the guy who substitute Soli on Monza's bench, sent in Sedlacek, and as you said, he played a wonderful end of the fourth set and even better tiebreak. To talk about the second preliminary round and the game against Dinamo Mosca, at the end of the game, I thought, that's the Trent I want to say. I want to watch them playing like that. I know that Mosca without Sokolov was not in the game.
And we don't know why. Do you know why? Do you know why he was not playing? Do you have any information?
Yeah, I heard he had back issues. And so with his back, and so he couldn't play both games, even the first game against the Linda and Amrisville. But we thought that Mosca coach was saving him for the game against Trento, and he didn't play against them either. And even if Dinamo Mosca was not at best, Trento played a game that was close to perfection for Lorenzetti ideas of volleyball. They serving very strong from the first ball to the last, and Dimir was unstoppable. He ended up with 22 points, 60% in attacking, 4 aces, 3 blocks. Was the opposite middle blocker didn't caught in once. And Trent has just, I think, 1 or 2 mistakes in attack. And Coy finally played a good game from the start to the end. And also Lucarelli, with Gianelli, set him just 6 times in attack. But Lucarelli scored 4 points. And it was more consistent, more reliable than the other matches. And also the 2 Serbian in the middle, Lisinac and Podraščanin, were pretty reliable. So Trento did a very good job as a team, still relying on Abdelaziz's power at serving and attacking. They gave no chance to Dinamo Mosca in the entire match. It ended up in 69 minutes. So Dinamo never reached the 20s in any of the 33 sets. I hope that they will transport this kind of volleyball also in the league to start climbing up the ranking.
Let's say that the next match of Trentino is against Cisterna. Cisterna is a guest, and then they are playing against Vibo Valentia and Milano. So let's see if this win against Dinamo Moscow in the Champions League and they enter the group phase is going to be indicative. Of
course, they won also the game the day after against the Swiss side of leader. But it was a game just in the first set. Lorenzetti played the starting lineup just in the first set. Abdelaziz hasn't received a single ball from Gianelli. Abdelaziz ended up the first set with 1 point, which is a block. He never attacked. So from the second sets ahead, Lorenzetti played the substitutes.
Maybe they need those matches. No sets to Abdelaziz. Let's see how the other are going to play.
Exactly. And Lucarelli answered pretty well. The opposite wasn't. I think that Amrisville wouldn't play in the Italian league.
But this is a Swiss team with a whole which roof is so loaded. I don't believe this roof is normal for playing volleyball on such a high level.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, that's too low a roof. So I believe that not roof but ceiling. Roof is another
ceiling.
Thing. Yeah, ceiling.
Roof is outside.
Yeah. Roof is on the top of the ceiling. So the ceiling was very low, and it reminds me of Bulgarian halls. Some of them at least. Okay, the ranking, we have Perugia leading with 21 points, with Lube 20, Milano 14, then we have Vibo, Verona, Piacenza, Monza, Trentino, Ravenna, Padova, and Cisterna on the last, with both teams with 4 points. My question to you is, what do you think about this table? We have 7 rounds, which is a little bit, it's a little bit representative so far. So it's a good sample of matches. At least now we have very congested table with almost everyone can win against everyone.
Yeah, it's a very fluid situation. I mean, from Milano, which is third, to let's say Ravenna, there are 8 points, and there are 8 teams. 8 teams in 8 points, and as we see, a tiebreak could have changed and make the distance even less, even smaller. I think that this is a fortune for Trento, as I can say, because with a couple of wins, if they get a streak of 3-4 wins, they could climb the ranking pretty fast. But at the same time, it would be pretty interesting to see at the end of the first. In Italy, we call it andata, when you play all the game against when you played every team. I don't know how they call it in English. The first round, the first leg of the.
Yeah, something like something like that. In German, there is also a term for this, but I'm not sure if they have this in English also.
Yeah, but in 4 matches, they would have played one against each other at least once, and I think that at the moment, a part of Vibo that we see with 10 points, maybe one of the best surprised. I'm surprised by Ravenna. It's true that they only have 6 points, but they lost 3 games in the tiebreak. So they fought against every team they met. They met pretty well. They won also one game by 3-0, and I expect them to be actually at the bottom of the table because they're a young team. So even if a team that like them that at the beginning of the season was indicated by almost everyone, like the one that probably would have fought Padova not to be relegated, could take away points from other team. One of the tiebreak that Ravenna lost was against Lube. So if even the smallest team could take away points to the big, except maybe the big two, Perugia and Lube, and that for Ravenna was just a casualty in the
big
games.
4 turned into big 2. It's
yeah. That sum it up.
It's shrinking.
Even if Modena beats Trento in the game that have been postponed for the 5th round, and the next round is Modena against Lube. So if Modena wins the 2 games, it goes just 2 points from Lube. So it could be the 3 horse races, that we call it at the beginning, but with Modena instead of Trentino.
Do you believe that Modena can win against Lube?
No, honestly, but Vettori has been on fire in the past two games. Taking away Abdelaziz has been the best opposite in the past 2 rounds. His attacking was 63 and 58, if I don't get wrong. That for an opposite are very good digits. So maybe, I don't know, they're playing Pala Panini, but with the COVID situation, there will be a empty Pala Panini. If there will be a sold out Pala Panini in Modena, Modena had a little more of a push from the fans and could have done it. But I think that Lube will win at the end.
Okay, now it's time for volleyball lessons in Italian. This time you don't have this example from the Polish colleague, because there was no Polish podcast due to the fact that there are very, very few matches played in Poland. So now it's your turn to invent the 3 words.
Yeah, well, for today's 3 words, I decided to follow the stages of a rally. So we start from the serve, which is battuta in Italian, of course. Then we have the reception, which is ricezione in Italiano. And then the set, could be either palleggio or alzata. And so then the rally will go on, and we will see the next three.
Yeah, the next three with the
next time.
And
battuta, ricezione, and alzata o palleggio.
Palleggio, yes. And we're going to have the next three in the next podcast, which will take place after the 10th round, which is, I believe, 15th of November. Yes, this is after two weeks. Again, 3 rounds are going to be played. So Nicola, thank you. Thank you for all the spectators for watching us in YouTube. I hope that you also had listened to us in Spotify, Google Podcasts, and the other platforms. We are in already for 2-3 weeks approximately. You can also follow the pages of Volleyball Explained wherever in YouTube and in Facebook of Pillole di Volley in Facebook and Twitter, and also to Cuban Spike, even though Ronnie is not here this time, in YouTube and in Facebook as well. Thank you for watching, and watch Italian Volleyball and watch and listen to Volleyball Explained, and enjoy the statistics of Pillole di Volley. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Till next time.